Hello, my friend. I'm Rick, and this is your seat at the table, and this is little Missy, who's just decided to join me up there. She was laying down over there a minute ago. Why don't you get down for a minute? There you go. Right. So we are looking at the Forgotten Realms installment for second edition Dungeons and Dragons called the Moonsea. Now, this is there are source books and there are source books, and I say that all the time. And some are much better than others, and some are more informative than others. In this case, this one here actually is very nice, and I used it for a number of campaigns back in the 90s. The Moonsea itself. Let me show you the map, and it's a huge map compared to what the amount of surface I can record it to, so you can see it continually goes, you know, way up here, way over here. So pretty much what you have is this inland sea called the Moonsea, and it's surrounded by quite a variety. You have this great desert-like land up here, and these mountains, and a swamp, frozen cold swamp, more mountains. Then you got this heavily forested region and winterland region or riverland regions down here, and then off to the west another round of mountains, and so on and so forth. So the terrain itself, the wide variety, it lends itself to an excellent sandbox for you and your players, because you're going to be able to get access to. Now I got to figure out how was this folded up? All right. So get that folded up. So what you end up with is this quite a wide range of areas to campaign and play in. So your players are going to have the advantage of having that ability to engage in many different types of encounters and settings in a short region. And so one of the things that we were able, I like the Moonsea because it gave us a great base of operations, so our players could have missions that go to the various and use the sea itself to get around. And I think in one group we actually had our own boat. The crew had, or the group had its own boat, and we're using it to get around. The other one was they would beg, borrow, and steal transportation when they needed it, but the thought was the same. So we end up with an area that's quite diverse with lots of different stuff going on. And right off the bat, one of the things that I really get a chuckle out is if you look at the artwork itself. This fella here is stabbing this fella in the throat with a loaf of bread. That, my friends, is a loaf. It looks like a baguette, one of them big honking long bread loaves, and just sticks him right in the throat with it. So, hey, and it says usable by all levels of play. This one here was your traditional source material. We get two separate booklets. The first one, of course, is for the player's guide. Gives us a table of contents, the introduction, talk about the west branch of the sea, the north coast, south coast, and Moonsea miscellaneous, right? And so this would be the accessory you'd hand over to your players. This would be the thing that they would have all the basic information, talking about the major cities and small. One of the big dominant factors in the Moonsea is Zhentil Keep and the Zhentil. If you're any knowledge whatsoever of the Forgotten Realms, the Zhentilar is one of the uber bad guys, the never-ending litany of stuff that they're affiliated with and or responsible for, just peppers all the lore and the stories for the Forgotten Realms. So they're Zhentil Keep and the Citadel of the Raven and a couple small towns and cities that they control. Right now, Zhentil Keep gets ransacked and destroyed at the end of the Avatar battles, when there's a shake-up in the heavens, and it radically changes the Forgotten Realms in a lot of ways. It was a huge reboot or kick in the butt kind of thing from the game company to create a bunch of other opportunities for further expansion. Right, so you get the Moonsea guide, and then the accessory for of course, you got the the cover itself can act as a somewhat of a shield if you want to use it for a GM guy or a GM dice shield or something. So the reference guide for the Game Master is much more extensive. This was produced, let's see, what year does this say? What year? 1995 was the year that this was produced. So we get the introduction. The Moonsea, also known as the Sea of Dragons, lies nestled between Thar to the north and Daylands and Symbia to the south. These natural barriers prevent casual contact between two opposing regions. The Moonsea is a cold, clear, deep lake of color of dark amethyst and frequent storms and turbulent weather that mirrors its turbulent past and present. It's a place that where unwary adventurers can either make a name for themselves or be buried under the dark, hungry waves. Now, the shores harbor a list of cities whose fame or notoriety is well known throughout the realms: Zhentil Keep, Safar, Faerun, Melandryll, and Mulmaster. Each city along the Moonsea shore brings its own unique contributions, helping to shape the overall character of the sea itself. Now, and if that's not truly the case, then the cities have little good to offer, since the Moonsea is a harsh place. People themselves have been harsh in order to survive. Suspicion, greed, brutality, and political treachery have become the meat and drink of the region's inhabitants. Right, so we talk about about the book, the Moonsea. Brief history of the Moonsea area. The West Branch, Safar, powerful city on the west coast of the Moonsea. So West Branch, you got the most popular area, one subject to the most contention. Safar and Zhentil Keep have a stranglehold on the region, and they are locked in an uneasy courtship which could explode at any moment. The Citadel of the Raven houses a large garrison of disgruntled soldiers, mostly on punishment duty, and all the more than ready to jump on the first order to fight. The Zhentilar have overrun Teshwave, leaving it an empty shell of its former power. Ulash and Vunlar, all but Zhentilar's limp puppets. The only escape from despair is the West Branch, is Elven Tree, an oasis of beauty and joy in this otherwise desperate area. So you get an overall view of that region. So you're dealing with the Safar and a lot of details on it and information on it specifically. Trades, the docks, the templates for the city, various sites. And we move on to Zhentil Keep, the way it used to be, recent developments. Then we move on to the Cyric and Bane Schism, then Citadel of the Raven, plots and counterplots, Teshweave, the armies as a Zeterium, locations and where to find most of them, the Ulash, recent break, Ulash features, Vunlar, the ruler of Vunlar. There's a good example, most of Vunlar being that nothing but a frickin' ruin. Elven Tree, a truly woodland paradise. Trade, the elves, the listening tree. So we move on to the north coast. This is the dreaded destination for anyone who prefers beauty to despair. Melandryll, the Moonsea's largest industrial city, is known for its black, polluted skies, high-quality goods. Faerun continues to rise like a phoenix from its own ashes after each defeat. It is once again on its way to becoming a prominent city, but it currently resembles a huge construction site. Zhentil, while the most liberal and tolerant city, is little more than a rest stop. Travelers must pass through the hordes of orcs, goblins, and other creatures that live in the wildlands outside to get there. So this would be the north coast, being that you've got this great cold desert to the north and a number of mountain chains on either side, bracketing the damn desert. And it's open to the north, so you have a whole lot of humanoid, goblinoid invasions. Trolls and giants are pretty thick in the area and the region. They come down on a frequent basis, so you get these massive orc hordes that roll through on every, and that's what recently destroyed the city of what was it? Not Teshweave, but Ulan or Usan or whatever the hell it was. They were having a problem with that anyway. So we get this big honking city of Melandryll. Population about 40,000 souls, includes about 10,000 merchant, miners, and seafarers. Specializes in weapons, armor, and other metal implements. Right. So taxes, and more taxes. The council of lords, defense, trade. Yeah, it's one of those cities where if your characters go visit, tax the shit out of them. You tax them for everything. You tax them to tax them. You tax them for the sake of taxing them. Then when they ask the guy about a tax, there's a tax for asking questions. That'd be the kind of setting that this would fit right well with this particular city. So we get into a little more detail about various points within the city. All right, and then we get the Felon. So testament of stubbornness. Yeah, Felon's the one that keeps getting invaded by orc armies and destroyed, and it keeps getting rebuilt. So that's basically where it is now. It was totally destroyed like a decade ago, and now it's in the process of rebuilding itself. Right, various things of interest in the area. Zhentil, southeast of Illet, lies a slightly smaller city of Zhentil. Another one would be, dominant area cities that all about money and greed. Hulburg. All right. Sulasspryn. It's another one of the unfortunate cities that did not survive the harsh layout on the Moonsea. It was brutally and repeatedly attacked by orcs, dragons, beholders, pirates, and ambitious Moonsea lords. So it's just a big honk of ruin. Under the ruin, though, are some dark elves. Okay? Drowsbane heirs, city in ruins, direct of the sea elf, ruined granary. So the Sorcerer's Isle, history of the isle, local creatures, interior features. We get the south coast of the Moonsea as a welcome change after the desolation of the north coast. Traveler stops anywhere in the Moonsea for the rest and rejuvenation. Let Elmwood be his or her destination. Beautiful pastoral city, blessed by its lack of excitement and political intrigue. Mulmaster, however, is the opposite, sprawling, dirty, filled with danger for those who weren't paying attention. Ironfang sits on judgment of the White River, foreboding, mysterious, and completely inaccessible. Right, so we got Elmwood. Few places can be considered more peaceful and serene. Right? You'd think it was a halfling city. Trade, the city itself, some key points within it. Under Elmwood, the under stuff. Mulmaster, High-Bladed Mulmaster, Brotherhood of the Cloak, the Blades, the Temples, the Defenses. Mulmaster, the Trade, other features, the city. Lots of city features inside. Ironfang Keep. Getting there is half the fun. Then the Moonsea proper, above the waves, the island of Mouse, pirates, a couple examples of pirates under the Moonsea, the Bell of the Depths, undersea races and ecology. All right. Unlike the Sea of Stars, the Moonsea doesn't have. It has a robust aquatic environment, but nothing like the Sea of Stars. You don't have this massive Saragrin, however it's pronounced, city that wants to dominate the ocean in the Moonsea, and that makes a bit of a difference, right? A little bit, but a bit of a difference. Anyway, here's the Moonsea. It's a great supplement for Forgotten Realms. It features a nice large region and does a fairly credible job of giving you a good overview of the entirety of that region and the intricacies in between. So it gives you some plot ideas and stuff that you can use for creating campaigns in those settings if that's your thing. I mean, the other side of the coin would be, of course, is the flexibility that it offers a GM, in my opinion, anyway. It's a great book. If you can get your hands on a copy of this and you get all the pieces to it, hey, it's worth having. If you're really into Forgotten Realms, one of the things that got me was I really loved the writing, the novels. So I have a whole slew of these novels set for Forgotten Realms, and when they come, it's like Lord of the Rings, J.R.R. Tolkien's work, when Iron Crown Enterprises started producing Middle-earth role-playing game, they were filling in so many of these blanks in Tolkien's canvas that I found myself infatuated with them. I had to buy them as they came out, whether I was playing the game or not, because it gave me, it was this patchwork collection that gives you this grand tapestry when you're all done and set, and so this kind of fit in that same venue. Although I learned late as the years went by, I learned that You know, Tolkien's work's pretty unique for being Tolkien's work. Just saying, you know. At some point, you stop buying this kind of stuff because you go, how much more do I freaking gotta have? You know, how much more do I gonna need? That kind of stuff. Anyway, until next time, I'm Rick. You ain't. Little Missy sitting over there behaving herself. I hope you guys have yourself a great weekend.